A couple, Ling and Nam, sit across from each other in a cafe sipping a cup of coffee. A beautiful girl dressed extremely fancy walks past their table and outside the cafe. As she walks by the table, Nam turns his head and watches her. Nam, what are you doing?
What? What do you mean?
You completely just checked out that girl.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, admit it. You were checking her out.
You need to stop. You're acting crazy.
No, it's true. You were looking at her because you don't think I'm beautiful.
Okay, can we not discuss this? I don't want to be that couple arguing in public.
I don't care. You don't think I'm beautiful. That's the reason you don't love me.
Listen, calm down. You don't need to announce anything to the whole cafe. You want me to order you something else?
No, I'm certain of it. You don't love me anymore. Every time we go out, we don't talk. We don't interact. You don't even make eye contact with me. You just look at your phone and at other girls.
You're so crazy. Why do you blame me for everything?
Because it's your fault. Everything is your fault. A staff member from the cafe walks over to the table.
I'm sorry, guys, but can you please keep it down? Our customers have made complaints because you are being too loud. Yes, I agree. I'm sorry. We will be quiet.
The staff member walks away.
Okay, fine. You know what? I may have briefly, for 1 second, looked at that girl, and I apologize for that.
Nope, it's too late.
Are you serious? Oh my God, what can I do to convince you that I love you?
The only way that would confirm to me that you would love me, Ling pauses,
Yes?
would be if you buy me some Kristen Louboutin lipsticks. Nam is silent. And you should hurry because it sells out quickly. Nam rolls his eyes and shakes his head in disbelief.
Hello? Did you want to see me?
Yes, Dai. Please come in. I hope it didn't interrupt you from your work.
No, it's fine. I was just on break.
Not at all. I just wanted you to take a quick survey for me.
Survey? What kind of survey?
Dad, I heard about the incident the other day, so I just want you to respond to a few questions from this questionnaire.
Okay, sure.
I want to emphasize that you're not in trouble, so answer honestly and please keep it brief. Don't take too much time to reflect.
If you insist.
Let's begin. First question. What's the most important quality to teach in?
I think that would be confidence. It takes confidence to stand in front and control a class.
Second question. How do you react when you have an issue with a child in your class?
Well, initially I might be upset, but I try to control myself and react responsibly.
Very good. So have you ever shouted or screamed at a child in class?
I guess. I mean, sometimes the kids can be very naughty, and it's the only way to get them to stop.
It's okay, Dai. As I mentioned, I want you to respond honestly. This is not a trick.
Okay.
Let's continue. Have you ever had the urge to hit one of the naughty children?
Well, honestly, yes. And recently I almost did hit one.
So, what happened with the incident?
Well, there is this one student who is very naughty, and I already warned him many times before to behave. And then...
Dai pauses. What happened, Dai?
Well, he told me, and I quote, "Kiss my butt." And then he pulled down his pants and showed me his buttocks.
I see.
So I gave him a little spanking. No big deal.
Well, Dai, I'm sorry about all this. You know, there's an idiom that says, spare the rod and spoil the child.
What does that mean?
It means discipline is necessary for good upbringing, but despite that, we can't have teachers spanking our students. You're fired, Dai. Please leave now. Long walks into a cafe and sees Được. He tries to turn around, but it's too late.
Hey, Lam. Long time no see. What are you doing here? Được. Hey. Oh, I just have an appointment with a client. How about you? Not much. Just writing in my diary. So, did you have fun at Hui's party the other night? I'm surprised I didn't see you there. What are you talking about? Oh, you know, Hui's annual birthday party. This year, he had it at the top of Hanoi Bar. There were dancers, a DJ, and everything. Oh, that sounds fun. But I guess I wasn't invited. No way. I remember you guys used to be best friends. He would never forget to invite you. No, Long. I didn't receive an invitation. Oh. Well, maybe he doesn't have your new address? Address? Why wouldn't he invite me on Facebook? Well, maybe you should have a conversation with Hui. I don't know why he wouldn't invite you. I know you heard the rumors about me, Lum. What rumors? First, it started off that I had dengue fever, which I didn't. It was just a cold. Then I heard some people were even saying I had AIDS. AIDS? That's crazy. Oh, you know how rumors are. My advice would be to just ignore them. Actually, all my friends stopped talking to me suddenly, and now I'm pretty depressed about the whole thing. Well, that's a terrible thing. Shame on the person who started those rumors. Long, I know you started them. What? What's the matter with you? Of course I didn't. Well, Yen claims it was you. Do you deny it? Yen? Oh, do you really trust her? I don't need to remind you that she was the one who apparently had a secret affair with one of her teachers. Well, Yen said that he started those rumors so I would not get invited to his party and that you could be the one to give the best friend speech. And now you are even spreading rumors about Yen. Therefore, it must have been you. Oh, look at that. My client just arrived. Sorry to bother you. Talk to you later.
Lum runs away.
Dear Harry, I am pleased to congratulate you and inform you that you have been accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It is very important that you take the time to read and consider all the documents and information enclosed within this envelope, which may list any restrictions on your admission. This information will also help you to facilitate your enrollment at the Graduate Center. You need to indicate whether you accept or refuse this offer of admissions by April 15th, 2018. Considering you are an orphan, we think it would be in your best interest to accept. You may contact us by OWL or by email, hogwarts.edu. It is important to note that if we do not receive a direct statement or notification from you, registration materials will not be produced and you will receive no awesome magic wand. If we receive your notification, a big hairy man named Hagrid will show up unannounced at your place of residence to escort you to a secluded train station. We recommend you commit as soon as possible and bring with you a statement of intent containing your signature. Financial aid decisions are made by the individual program office. Students receiving financial support will receive an award letter from the Office of Financial Aid. If you have any confusion that coincides with this letter, or beginning your studies with Hogwarts, please refer to the program office in your discipline for advisement and make sure to provide any relevant information regarding the discrepancy. We shall make every effort to be of assistance. As you may recall from our application process, we would like to inform you again that any attempts to deceive or misrepresent information, especially including that of identity and witch and wizard abilities, will be confronted immediately upon discovery and may result in serious consequences, such as loss of magical abilities, or torture of your friends and loved ones by the one who must not be named. We look forward to having a student like you represent our university. Sincerely, Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress.
Ben, a tall American clearly out of his element, walks his motorbike through the streets of Hanoi, leaking motor oil all over the ground. Eventually, he arrives at a repair shop, which he can recognize by all the tools and equipment all over the floor of the shop, the strong scent of pure gasoline, and by the man with motor oil all over his shirt and sleeves, squatting down and playing some sort of game on his phone. "Excuse me," Ben says. "I seem to be having some troubles with my motorbike." The mechanic looks up at Ben with less expression on his face than a skeleton. Ben continues, "You are the mechanic, I presume?" The mechanic gives a subtle nod, then looks back at his phone. Ben says, "Well, there seems to be a significant amount of liquid leaking from my bike. That seems to be enough proof that something is wrong." The man gives no response. He doesn't even budge. Ben looks around but sees no other repair shops within range. This place is his only option. He tries again to generate a response from the mechanic. "Please, help me, sir. This bike is like my child. It's limited edition Honda Wave I bought years ago. It has been so durable. This is the first time it has given me any problems besides some small stuff. Please help me fix it." The mechanic puts away his phone, and without saying a word, the mechanic puts on a pair of big, clear goggles like he's about to conduct a science experiment. Then, he grabs a hammer from the wall, walks over to the motorbike, and starts recklessly banging the motorbike in the general section where the bike was leaking. From Ben's perspective, this seemed odd, but he had no choice but to trust him. The man was Ben's only ray of hope. All of a sudden, a piece falls off the bike and motor oil sprays all over the walls and the mechanic. Unfazed, the mechanic gets up and calmly starts the bike. It starts, and the engine sounds better than ever. The mechanic then walks over to Ben and holds out his hand. $2 million, the mechanic says. Ben happily pays, gets on his bike, and drives away. Hello, everyone. My name is Chef Troy, and today I will be cooking my recipe for shrimp and broccoli stir-fry, with a nice beverage or cocktail on the side. So, the first thing you must do is peel and devein the shrimp, to give them a nice clean taste. Once that's done, you should wash the shrimp thoroughly, and then combine the shrimp in a medium-sized bowl with corn flour, and toss the bowl until the shrimp is coated. After that, you should wash and then cut the broccoli into bite-sized pieces and some red onions into thin slices. There are optional ingredients you could add to this recipe, like bacon or sausage, which could add to the flavor, but they are not the healthiest options. If you are a vegetarian, you can also consider adding some mushrooms as well. Next, you should heat a skillet with a medium flame and add canola oil to the skillet until it is coated with the oil. After that, you can add chopped ginger and garlic, and let that cook for about 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, add the shrimp to the skillet and cook for approximately 3 minutes or until the shrimp looks finished. After the shrimp is cooked, you should remove it from the skillet and then add more canola oil to the skillet and cook the broccoli and onions. While that is cooking, you can make the sauce. To make the sauce, you should combine chicken broth, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, corn flour, dark sesame oil, and crushed red pepper. Make sure you do not add too much rice vinegar to your sauce, otherwise it will come out too sour. You should whisk the sauce in a small bowl. Add it and the shrimp into the pan and let it all cook together with the broccoli and onions. Another nice addition to this meal would be pickled cucumbers with chili pepper. This would add another level of flavor and texture to your dish. While your stir-fry is cooking, you can make a cocktail to accompany your dish. If you do not drink alcohol, then a nice glass of lemonade would be a suitable accompaniment. But if you want extra kick with your meal, you can make a mimosa by adding equal parts champagne and orange juice into a champagne flute. And if you still have room for dessert, mint chocolate chip ice cream is my favorite. Thuy and Tu Anh are both squatting down near a barbecue. They are at a house gathering at Tu Anh's house. Their husbands, Hum and Đức, sit at a table nearby them drinking beer and Vietnamese rice wine.
Oh yes, you always get so drunk at these gatherings. Such a waste. Yes, my husband is so lazy. We're over here doing all the preparing, roasting and grilling. They're sitting over there drinking, and never once do they offer to help. These men think they can do whatever they want. Although maybe it's a good thing my husband doesn't try and help. The other day, he almost burned down our whole house trying to light the stove. It's true, my husband is so useless. I don't even think my husband knows how to steam rice. It looks like your husband has the appetite of a pig. Yes, he's so lazy and fat.
Hum, Thuy's husband, calls out to the woman. Hey, Thuy, are the pork ribs ready yet? What is taking so long? We're starving.
Yes, sorry, my dear. They will be ready right away.
And can you make sure they are not too salty like last time? You always ruin the flavor.
Yes, dear, I'm so sorry. It won't happen again. That fool, he probably can't even taste anything anymore. He's so drunk. You got that right. He's so rude. I would never let my husband talk to me like that.
Suddenly, Đức, Tu Anh's husband, calls out to the woman. Tu Anh, get some more beer in the refrigerator and hurry up. I'm thirsty.
Yes, dear, right away. I'm so sorry.
And you should freeze some more water while you're at it. We have no more ice.
We should play a trick on them. Let's mix up every spice we can find and put it on the ribs and then serve it to them. Great idea.
Tui and Tuang then crush a bunch of chili peppers, put it on the pork ribs, and serve it to the men.
Enjoy. Dũng, an elementary school student, is in the principal's office with his parents receiving a lecture for his recent bad behavior. Go ahead, Dũng. Tell your parents what you did today.
No, I don't want to.
Dũng drew some artwork on the blackboard today.
What did he draw?
Dũng, tell them what you drew.
I drew a nice picture of my teacher, Miss Fung.
Well, the picture was not very flattering. Miss Fung also says that Dũng constantly throws pens and other objects at the board and never properly wears his uniforms in class.
That's not true. The other children throw stuff, but Miss Fung always blames me.
We do think the primary reason he behaves this way is for the approval of his classmates.
Whatever.
Dũng also told you that he failed his exam last week and completely forgot to hand in the essay as well.
Dũng, you told us you got 100 on that essay. The essay was stupid. Why would I do that stupid essay?
I think Dũng really needs to improve his attention and interest in school and must practice much harder to avoid being held back. If you consider taking Dũng to the doctor to examine him, perhaps Dũng has a mental disorder.
No, I don't. Yes, we thought the same thing when he was a little child, but the doctor said he is completely normal.
Well, have you considered registering Dũng for a mentor program? One of Dũng classmates, Hoàng Anh, has a mentor and now his work is outstanding.
Hoàng Anh gets good marks because he cheats on his tests.
Well, regardless, I think something needs to be done about Dũng behavior.
Yes, if Dũng makes one more mistake, he will have to spend the next holiday in his room with no video games or TV. No, please.
Following is a talk from a seminar on studying abroad in the U.S. held at the U.S. Embassy.
The first step to studying in the United States is researching your options to find a college that best fits your needs. You need to think about what you want to concentrate on. For example, is it all about which major you choose? Or do you want to join a school that has outstanding extracurricular clubs like a film or debate club? It all depends on what you want. You need to define your priorities. This should be the basis of your research for your future college. If you are concerned that you are not looking in the right places, then you can come here to the embassy where one of our staff would be happy to assist you. Or we have a library here full of books with concrete information on colleges in the U.S. The next step is to consider finances. The cost of living and studying varies across the United States, and this will be an integral part of your research and planning. There are also many scholarships for studying in the U.S. that you may be eligible for. The third step is to complete your application and apply for your student visa. This can be a very complicated step, so if you want further information or assistance with this, the embassy provides a one-day course that gives full detail on how to complete your application before the deadline, as well as apply for your student visa. Our goal is to help you prevent making any errors and give you the best chance of being accepted and approved. The final step is to prepare for your departure. This step because it means you made it and are getting ready for your trip. Make sure your travel and living arrangements are all in order and don't forget to attend the pre-departure orientation here at the embassy. So, to conclude, studying in the U.S. can be a wonderfully fulfilling experience where you can study at one of the top international universities and learn about a new culture. But you need to make sure that you do your research. Also, if you want to speak privately, then I will be waiting in the adjacent hall for about 20 minutes afterwards to answer any of your questions. Thank you. Fung Ang just received an acceptance letter from the Erato School of Music and Performing Arts. She tells her father about the good news.
Hey Dad, look, I got into my dream school Colorado.
Are you sure?
Yeah, look at this. It says the Committee on Admission has admitted you to the class of 2022 under the Bachelor of Arts in Classical Ballet. Oh my god, this is so exciting.
I see.
The letter also says that the Department of Finance has calculated that I qualify for a half-free academic scholarship as long as I attend a pre-seminar ballet class as a prerequisite.
Feng, honey, we discussed this already.
Daddy, what do you mean?
Listen, Feng, I can acknowledge this is an outstanding merit. However, studying ballet in college is not a suitable choice for your future. You need to graduate with an academic diploma in a more realistic subject like business or engineering.
And I hate engineering.
Well, how about you study biology or chemistry, and then you can become a doctor like your mother.
I don't want to be a doctor like Mother. She works all the time and is never home. All she does is work and sleep. Why can't you support my dreams? Don't you want me to be happy?
Listen, you need security in your life, and to pursue ballet is too risky. For example, my colleague at my office used to be a very talented piano player. He even received an honor from his high school for his exceptional playing. But in university, he quit piano to pursue a degree in business. And now he makes a decent salary, has a wife, children, his own apartment, and a car.
Well, my philosophy in life has always been do whatever makes you happy. I don't care about having an apartment or car, even a family if I am not doing what I love.
Feng, this is no longer a discussion. My terms are, if you don't study what I tell you to, you will not have my support. Now go up to your room and get ready. Your English tutor will be here soon. Feng walks upstairs with her head down.
He walks into the headquarters of FPT, a multinational information technology company, for an interview for a new job opening. The Director of Human Resources will see you now. He walks into the director's office.
Good afternoon. I'm Mr. Huang. You must be Hui. Good afternoon, Mr. Huang. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for coming in today, Hui. Please sit down.
Hui sits down, and Mr. Huang continues.
So, let's get right to it. Firstly, how did you hear about our job opening? I went to a networking event at the rooftop of Pan Pacific Hotel and spoke with a woman from a recruiting agency who said your company has an opening. She didn't tell me much about the position, but I decided to apply anyway. Well, I must say, I'm really impressed with your CV and profile. You promote yourself well, but what makes you think you should be hired to work for our company? Well, let me start off by saying that I'm the hardest worker you'll ever meet. Business has always been my passion. I was always dreaming of being rich since I was a child, and I believe a career with FPT will make that dream come true. I see. And what is your prior experience? I just graduated from Foreign Trade University, where I studied business administration. While I was studying there, I also worked part-time at a small business as a sales representative. There I was able to improve my skills and gain a lot of experience, even though the wage was very low. Well, to be a sales representative with our company is a requirement. It's a requirement to have incredible leadership and persuasion skills. Our representatives are some of the best in the country, but they also get the highest salaries in the country. Great! Unfortunately, there are no openings for that position. Oh. However, I can offer you a position with our custodial staff. Your duties will be cleaning the toilets and the storage room. Your salary will be incredibly low, and there will be no pension or employee benefits. You will work long hours, and your coworkers will treat you like a peasant. So, 2 potential candidates for a job opening at Vietcom Bank wait in the lobby to be interviewed by the Human Resources Manager.
Hey, are you here for the interview?
Yep. How about you?
Yeah, me too.
I guess that makes us opponents, doesn't it?
I guess it does.
Well, At least I know I have the advantage already.
Oh yeah? And why is that?
Because, to put it delicately, you aren't the most attractive applicant there is.
But since it's not a beauty contest, the better worker will deserve the job, not the prettiest one. That is me for sure.
And what makes you think you are a better worker than me?
Because you cannot match my ambition. I will get up earlier than you. I will work more hours than you. I will do anything to show that I'm the overall best.
Yeah, okay. You look like a little child pretending to be an adult with that suit on. Did you just graduate high school or something? I bet you have no experience. Do you even know how to create a spreadsheet?
Haha, very funny. Don't you worry about my experience. I have plenty, and I'm more than capable of compiling spreadsheets. I've probably made more than your tiny brain can count.
It's not just about brain size, you know. It's also about speed. Can you work quickly and efficiently under pressure? Do you know how to deal with conflict? I bet you scream and cry like a baby when something goes wrong.
Don't you doubt me. I work more effectively under pressure and I embrace conflict.
You really think highly of yourself. Do you even know what this job position consists of?
Of course I do. I can do everything, designate tasks to my staff, facilitate meetings, and be available and open if any needs consulting.
Well, I think I've heard enough. You're hired.
Excuse me?
Yes, I'm the HR manager, and this is the way I conduct interviews. I want to appoint you to the new head of international relations. I hope you can help us bring our success worldwide.
Great. Trần Đình Long, the second richest man in Vietnam, talks about his life story.
I started from nothing. As a kid, my father refused to serve in the army during the American War, so we fled to America as refugees. There, we were so poor, my father could only find blue-collar jobs. He eventually became a plumber. I had to help him with his job, but I knew I couldn't live this kind of life. This motivated me to study hard. I wanted to learn everything I could about America's business and economy. But I had to earn money to support my family, so I got a job as a courier, while also continuing to study many hours every day. At the time, I was working harder than a slave, and barely sleeping, but I would do anything to help bring my family out of poverty. The best part of being a courier was I got a peek of business life in the offices I delivered mail to. Times got tougher for our family. The debt collector called our house every day. Destiny was calling, so one day I was bringing the mail to this large construction company, and instead of handing it to the receptionist, I walked right into the supervisor's office. He was asking one of the employees for a solution to a shipping error that the company made. Before the other employee could answer, I answered, recalling my studies. The supervisor was impressed and asked me for my name. He told me to come see him the next day. I started working for the company the next day as his apprentice. He taught me everything he knew about architecture and the construction industry. There, I climbed the corporate ladder, and after a couple years, I quit working for that company to start my own construction business in Vietnam. Now, my company is worth over $200 million. I have personal secretaries and guards, a driver, and even a chef that all fulfill my every command. Today, I will be having lunch with the Ambassador Extraordinary of Vietnam and with the President next week. And my father is happily retired, living in his own mansion. So what you need to understand is that success won't ever come and find you. You need to go out and get it.
Ming was an employee of the Vingroup Corporation. He really aspired to become the CEO of the Vingroup Corporation. That's why one day, when his boss deliberately put Ming in charge of closing 10 different Vinmart stores in Hanoi, he jumped on the opportunity to make a good impression with his boss. He knew this would be a very complicated assignment, and Ming didn't completely understand his boss' agenda. But Ming thought if he accomplished this task, he would get the promotion he desired. He thought he must stay dedicated to Vingroup. Cooperating with his task, Ming had the opportunity to travel to one Vinmart, which was located in a remote area 10 kilometers outside of Hanoi. This particular Vinmart didn't properly compensate their workers, so Ming coordinated this store to be closed down. The next day, Ming was responsible for closing another store down. The complaints were that this store was often rude and did not cater to their customers well. He authorized this store to be closed, and eventually, after 3 weeks, Ming closed a total of 9 Vinmart stores. There was only one more on his list. The next day, Ming showed up to the store, ready to close it down. But when Ming stepped into the store, he caught sight of the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. It was love at first sight for Ming. He approached the woman and asked to speak to the manager of the store. She replied, "I am the boss. How may I help you?" Once Ming found this out, he knew that he couldn't close the store. He was in love, so instead of closing the store down, Ming asked the woman out on a date and she said yes. The next day, Ming informed his boss that he had closed 9 out of the 10 stores, but that was the last store. He did not need to be closed. His boss was furious. He told Ming that he would fire him unless he closed the store. Ming thought for a second. He knew he was in love and did not want to close the store. He was also afraid of unemployment. Finally, Ming decided not to compromise and yelled, "I resign." Ming eventually married the woman from the store, and the two opened up their own store. They decided to name the store Circle K. Tuấn arrives at his girlfriend's house very early in the morning and knocks on the door powerfully.
Hey, Ha, come out here.
Hey, what's going on? You don't need to bang on the door so loudly, it's rude.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess I could be more polite. If you answered your phone once in a while.
What are you talking about?
What did you do last night? Why didn't you respond to me?
I was busy.
Oh, yeah. What were you busy doing?
Why? I don't have to tell you everything you know.
No, please tell me. I'm really curious what you were so busy doing last night that you couldn't even respond to one text I sent you.
Wow, what are you so afraid of? Can't I just have some peaceful time alone sometimes?
Alone? If you were alone, then why would you post a selfie of you wearing your favorite outfit?
Oh my god, seriously? You're really starting to annoy me. Why do you have such an attitude?
You were with Quang, weren't you?
What are you talking about? Why are you so jealous of him? We're just friends.
So you admit it. You should be ashamed of yourself. How could you be so cruel? You cheater.
Can you keep your voice down? I hear my neighbors complaining in the background.
I don't care. I can't believe you cheated on me. You witch.
Listen, Tuấn. Truth is, last night I was going to meet a friend, but then my mother got sick and had to go to the hospital. I was with her the whole night. Didn't respond to anyone. So stop trying to make me feel guilty and stop being so negative. I didn't cheat on you.
Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. You're right, I'm crazy. I won't be jealous anymore, I promise. I promise to trust you more and be more patient with you.
Aw, it's okay. I forgive you. I'm sorry I didn't answer you, babe.
Oh, baby, I love you so much. From now on, I just want to give you pleasure and happiness.
Suddenly, Had's phone rings.
Who is it? Is it Quang? I knew it, you cheater.
Forever alone. Oh my god, did you hear what Dick did to his girlfriend Thuy yesterday?
No, what?
He commented on Lan's Facebook selfie, and he even put a winky face. He's such an idiot, and Thuy is so miserable today.
Wow, I can't believe he would do that. She's such an innocent girl. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I've known her since childhood. She was always fat and ugly, and the boys liked her, so she doesn't have much dating experience. I mean, I'm no dating expert, but I would never date Dick after hearing all those rumors.
Oh yeah? What rumors are those?
You don't know? Well, apparently Dick has been seen kissing basically every girl in the school. There are even photos too. He's cute, but way too dishonest to ever be my boyfriend.
Wow, seriously? Oh, poor girl. Thuy should really be careful or she will get her heart broken.
Poor girl? She's so silly. She needs to stop being so desperate and pathetic.
Yeah, but I don't trust that Lan girl. You heard the rumors about her, right?
No? What are people saying?
Well, I heard from Liên that she went on a date with one of the teachers in the school.
No way.
Yeah, apparently they went to some elegant restaurant together and Liên saw them there.
Wow. But you know what? I think she's intelligent. We should date men with money.
You're right.
We don't want to end up with a loser like Chang.
Oh no, he's so pitiful.
He is such a coward. I heard that Mai asked him to help her with her math homework, and he peed his pants right there and then.
We should be grateful we are beautiful and don't have to date men like that.
Exactly. We are beautiful, mature, generous. We are so perfect. Any guy would be so lucky to have us.
Yeah, and a great sense of humor too. But wait, why are we both still single then?
Dat was walking by himself around Hoan Kim Lake, enjoying the vivid scenery around him and reflecting on his life. He walked in a sort of peaceful trance until something snapped him out of it. Not something, it was actually someone. A beautiful girl, with long, wavy hair past her shoulders, was sitting on a bench reading a book by herself. Dat felt like he just entered a painting. He stared at her in awe. He noticed that she had this concentrated gaze on her book, which he found adorable. He sensed there was something about this girl, but he couldn't tell what. Just then, her eyes left her book and she looked directly at Dat. Her beautiful brown eyes pierced Dat with a look that filled him with anxiety. Why would she look at me? Dat thought to himself. They gazed at each other for what seemed like forever. All of a sudden, he began to panic. His hands started sweating and his heart began to race. It was time to make a decision. Dat's wisdom told him that he should just keep walking. A girl like this would never want to talk to him. But he felt something within him, deep inside his spirit, that told him that he must talk to her. He still tried to be sensible and thought if he just walked away now, there would be no serious damage. He could just move on and forget this moment ever happened. But this feeling was stubborn. It wouldn't let him walk away. He realized he would be more upset if he didn't do anything. Life is not about being conservative. One must take risks to truly live, Dat thought to himself. He made his decision and took one apprehensive step towards the girl. He immediately started to regret his decision and became filled with anger. What am I doing? Why am I such an idiot? He thought to himself. But his feet kept moving towards her like he was being pulled by some uncontrollable magnetic force. Quick, think of something witty to say, he said to himself. But his mind was blank. And before he knew it, he was close enough to the girl that he could smell her lovely perfume. He stood there, staring at her for a few awkward moments, and finally he nervously managed to say, Hi. The girl smiled.
Welcome to the Echo Lodge. Thank you for choosing us, and we hope you enjoy your stay. Here at the lodge, we care about the planet as much as we care about our customers. We'd like to share a vision of sustainable future with you and invite you to enjoy us in protecting our home. Nearly all of the materials used to build this property have been recycled and or repurposed, including the furniture and fittings. Each and every brick used to build this structure was made with landfilled plastic and all fabrics, including the curtains, towels, blankets, pillowcases, and sheets, are made from 100% recycled cotton. Paper products we use, such as napkins, paper towels, and toilet paper, are also recycled. All the wood you see around you has been reclaimed. From the bench on our balcony to the fence around the border, none of the wood on this property has been cut down in our lifetime. We believe in planting trees, not cutting them down. In fact, we planted the tree in our lobby and the trees just outside your window on the first day of construction. The Echo Lodge is also proud to be at the forefront of accessibility. We believe everyone should get to enjoy nature to their fullest, especially those of us with disabilities. The lodge and the surrounding property is therefore fully wheelchair accessible. We hope you will enjoy making use of our unobtrusive footpaths as much as we do. Please enjoy the use of our complimentary and eco-friendly toiletries located in the restroom under the mirror. We believe in giving, please, as much as we take. To that end, we hope you won't mind humoring us and following a few friendly suggestions. Please use water sparingly. We encourage taking shorter showers and remind you not to leave the faucet on while you brush your teeth. To avoid unnecessary waste of water, we only provide laundry service on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Fresh towels, blankets, and sheets will only be provided on these days. We're sorry for this inconvenience and hope you understand. All paper waste should be put in the trash, not the toilet. Lee, a housewife, noticed her husband acting suspiciously recently. She hired a private investigator to follow him. Private investigator returned to her with the results.
So, I have made some discoveries while following your husband that you might be interested to hear.
This doesn't sound good.
Well, on the first day I followed your husband to another house. I saw him knock on the door and a stranger answered. Your husband greeted this stranger with a hug and a kiss on the lips. I later found out, after questioning a neighbor, that this stranger is a woman named Nguyễn, who is an owner of some retail store. Here are some photos I took of them together. As you can see, they are quite cozy together.
Oh my God, I know her. I saw her in our house once, but my husband told me she was a new housekeeper. And after that day, I never saw her again because he told me she ruined one of his shirts while she was doing laundry, so he fired her.
Well, there is more you should know.
Oh no.
The next day, I waited for your husband and Miss Hank to leave the house, and I went to knock on the door, and a small child answered. I told him that I was a maintenance man, and he allowed me to enter. I looked in the house for more evidence, and it appears that your husband has a whole other family with the woman.
Are you serious?
I'm afraid so. I found a picture of him and Miss Hank and what appeared to be a daughter and a son. There were also wedding photos with your husband and Miss Hank, which leads me to believe that she is also his wife.
I can't believe it. He told me he was physically unable to have children. I suggested we adopt kids, but he didn't support it. What a liar.
I'm very sorry. I know this is tough news to receive.
Yes. Oh dear, and today's our anniversary. We were supposed to go to Grill 63 restaurant tonight to celebrate.
Well, it looks like you might have to cancel because you and your husband have a lot to discuss and settle.
Discuss? No, I'm going to kill him.
When playing the Game of Thrones, you have to decide what your values are going to be. Will you be someone who does what's right for mankind? Or will you be someone who will do whatever it takes to enhance your chances of wearing the ever-desirable crown? Some citizens abide by the laws, and some people make their own. Morality is the most complicated circumstance of the game, and there are many different ways to look at each moral dilemma. You can follow a religion or deity, like the Lord of Light, or you can do what is right based on your family, like the Lannisters, or by your tribe, like the Dothraki. Or you can try and do what's right for all the inhabitants of the known world. You are free to choose any belief and any decision you desire. But every decision will have a consequence, and most often it is life or death. People like Ned Stark and Stannis Baratheon chose their fate, and look where fate brought them. If you choose to live a life of honor and justice, perhaps the people who choose to act selfishly will have the edge over you, and can put the edge of their sword inside of you as well. They can do as they please, without an honor code of what's right and wrong. The wealthy control the armies, and therefore they are vested with the power to rule. And they rule with fear, so they must assert their power. But a girl named Daenerys and her dragons are trying to change that. She will try to seize power with justice, not with wealth. Will society be happy with someone more noble as their ruler? Or will they always feel oppressed and deprived by those in power? Will the White Walkers come and destroy everything so that nothing even matters? The answers to these questions are still unknown. But the show has made something very clear, and that's that your only assurance in life is your death. Unless you are Jon Snow, then death can't even stop you. Enjoy your Game of Thrones. Hi there. How may I help you today?
Hello, I'm traveling to Italy next week and I'd like to book some entrance tickets to the few monuments in Rome.
Oh, excellent. I can book these for you now. What would you like to see?
I'll start off with the church, Basilica of Santa Maria del Popolo. It is said to contain the best examples of works by Renaissance artists, Raphael, Bernini, and Caravaggio in the basement. Can you please make sure the tickets grant me access to their works? I can't wait to see them in real life. I've been studying them for years.
You are quite the art student. An associate of mine also enjoys the works of Raphael. He lives in Rome. Maybe he could accommodate you during your stay there?
Oh, that sounds great. So far, I've arranged to stay at the Temple of Bologna. I'm volunteering at the information desk for free accommodation. Free accommodation for 5 days, so that would be a great help.
No problem. I'll contact him after this.
Thanks. Also, I've already arranged a visit to the Lateran Palace, but the travel agent who sold me the ticket didn't tell me where it was. Can you help?
Of course, it's only round the corner from where you're staying at the Temple of Bologna. Walk along the corridor to the left of the temple, and you will see an arrow pointing you to the Lateran Palace. It's only a 5-minute walk.
That's convenient. Thank you.
So, I have booked the basilica for you. Is there a cathedral you'd like to visit?
Yes, there is. There is a cathedral that contains funeral arts from the ancient Romans, but I can't remember the name.
You must be talking about St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah, that's the one. I can't wait to go. It'll be like heaven.
Excellent. That's all booked for you. Have a great stay in Rome, and don't forget to surround yourself with the locals. It's a great way to make friends.
John had been driving for hours in a Vietnamese countryside and he started to fall asleep. Suddenly he woke up and saw a truck coming right for him. He swerved out of the way, hit a pothole and flew into a ditch. It took him a couple of moments to recover, but when he finally regained consciousness, he saw that his wrist was snapped and dangling. He saw it dangling from his arm and then he screamed in pain. His wrist was broken and his legs and ankles were covered in open wounds. He looked over at his bike and saw smoke coming from it. He realized his bike was as useless as his wrist. He stood up and limped back to the road. His whole body ached. He looked around for anyone that would come to his aid and save him. And then, a miracle arrived in the form of a bald man driving a motorbike with a cigarette in his mouth. The man stopped and looked John up and down. John begged to the man, "Help me, please! Help! Doctor! Hospital! Surgery!" He said everything he knew that he thought the man might understand. Without flinching, the man just nodded his head and then motioned for John to get on the back of the bike. John obeyed the man, and they drove off. They arrived in a village nearby, in the home of a lady who must have been 200 years old and blind, John thought. Her home looked like a pharmacy, pill bottles and tablets lying everywhere. John sat down and without saying anything, the woman looked at John's wrist, without reaction, as if it were just another usual day. She then went to prepare a remedy and filled a needle the dose of an unknown liquid. Please don't be poison, John thought to himself. Anxiety tightened his throat as he prepared for a 10-centimeter needle stick to enter his body. She injected him and removed the needle. Then she licked her thumb and wrapped it over the needle wound. The woman wrapped up his wrists, and just like that, the operation was over. John walked out of the house unsure if he would heal soon or if he just contracted some disease. Anyway, he thought, what to do about my bike? A big bully in the school hallway before...
Hey, nerd. Are you ready to give me your lunch money?
No, please not today. I need this money to my chess tournament. This is a very important occasion to me. Chess is my passion, just like football is your passion.
Yes, but that's different. I'm the captain of the football team. My coach even told me that I'm the best athlete that he has ever seen on the field. You are not nearly as good at chess as I am at football.
That's not true. I am amazing at chess. Last competition, I won a bronze.
Ha ha ha. You are happy with coming in third place? Do not even compare yourself with me. I'm the best player in the league. I basically have been given every trophy there is, and just last game I scored 5 goals. I even kicked the ball so hard that I knocked the goalkeeper over. He got such a big bruise from the kick that he had to go to the hospital. His hospital bill ended up being so expensive that his family had to sell their family business just to pay for it. And do you know who they sold their business to?
No, who?
They sold it to me. Now I provide an excellent service to all of their customers.
Which kind of business is it?
I sell swimsuits to both men and women of the highest quality. My company has built such a strong reputation with the surfing crowd that has been our new target market. But anyway, I will still take your lunch money because I despise you, you pathetic loser.
No. Please, can I keep my money today? I really need it to get to my... If I don't compete in this one, then I can never make it to the nationals.
Nope, don't care. Trust me, I'm doing you a favor. You're going to lose in that tournament anyway.
The bully takes the nerd, pushes the nerd down the ground. The bully takes the nerd's money, pushes the nerd...
A little boy named Giúp, wearing a hooded raincoat, ran as fast as he could down the street, yelling for help. One of his sandals fell off, but he kept running until he found a woman in a pink blouse, and he tugged on her purse. "Please, help me! There's a man in a clown costume chasing me." The woman looked at the boy in disgust. Just then, a red balloon floated towards the boy. He screamed and continued to run, into a grocery store and then a barber shop. But no one would help him. No one believed him that a clown was chasing him. Finally, he found a clothing store and went inside. He tried to disguise himself by putting on a cardigan sweater, a scarf, and a handkerchief over his face. But an employee in a suit walked over and asked him if he was going to purchase those items. The boy panicked and said, "Yes." The man made a skeptical face, but then smiled and said, "Sir, these clothes are terribly outdated. Let me find you some new deluxe items to spice up your wardrobe." "Yes, sir. That would satisfy me greatly," the boy said, trying to sound mature. "Right away, sir. I just have to check in the back for the newly arrived package," the employee said before walking off. The boy let out a deep breath, but just then the clown came out of nowhere holding a razor and shouted, "Now I got you." The boy grabbed a pair of scissors to protect himself. The clown showed the pointy blade of the razor to the boy and said, "No more games." The employee returned, holding some clothes and speaking, "I brought out 2 outfits, one from our chic catalog and one that is more casual and comfortable." The employee then noticed the clown and the razor and shouted, "Oh my God!" and he attacked the clown with a bucket. The clown tried to contain the employee and started to shout, "Wait! Stop! You don't understand!" The employee then stopped and the clown explained that he owned a famous costume shop and the boy had stolen a priceless dog tag necklace that originally belonged to a famous Vietnamese war general. They both looked at the boy, who held out the necklace in shame. He took off his new outfit and walked out the store.
Hey man, got a random favor to ask. But I ordered a bunch of dog whistles for my dog sitting business, Woofy Walks Enterprises, that I operate on the weekends. Looking to build up our inventory with some really nice equipment. The problem is all the dog whistles are being delivered to the office today at 3 p.m. and it won't be there to receive them. I'll be out at a conference with the boss today. So, can you meet the DHL guy in the lobby when he makes a delivery inside for me? I'm aware I shouldn't be having personal things shipped to our office, but the delivery was actually more affordable if I had it shipped to the office. Just keep this between us, okay? The label on the box should read, Picasso Exports established in 2008. It's a huge pet supply business in Sweden that you might have heard of. Since the whistles are imports, I've obviously invested a small fortune on them. So, if you have a second, please open the package and check the receipt with the invoice and make sure everything is all set. There should be 200 dog whistles in there. You don't have to actually count them to see if there are 200, but if have the spare time. Since the whistles are imports, I've obviously invested a small fortune on them. So, if you have a second, please open the package and check the receipt with the invoice and make sure everything is all set. There should be 200 dog whistles in there. You don't have to actually count them to see if there are 200, but if you have the spare time to do so, please be my guest. There should also be one free item, a luxury leash made of leather, that they added to the order because it was so big. Nice of them. So open the box, and if you don't see the list, just text me so that I can duck out of the meeting and call them to make a complaint. Thanks, man. I owe you a beer. And remember, if you want to join us at Woofy Walks and make some extra money on weekends, I guarantee I can convince my partners to bring you on board. Since I have a passion for working with pets, my strategy is to build up this side business so I can quit real estate, and I'll hopefully transition over to Woofy Walks full-time by the middle of next year. Ching and Cuốn discuss the financial value of an important decision.
So, after some financial calculating, I'm not sure this is a worthwhile investment.
What? Why do you say that?
Well, as you know, we still owe a lot of money on our house mortgage. In addition to that, all the consistent charges that someone with a shopping addiction has made to the credit card, it's too much of a liability for us.
I'm sorry if I can stop shopping.
Are you sure you can? At the rate you're shopping at now, we're going to be homeless soon. Didn't you spend so much the other day that one store declined our card?
That's true. Well, maybe I can't stop, but I can shop less. Also, the costs wouldn't be immediate. We would have 9 months to prepare.
There's still too much risk involved, and the potential profits, which, to be honest, I don't see many, would not balance out the total expenses.
You don't see many potential profits? How could you say that about having a child?
It's true. What are the profits? All I can see are expenses. You need to think of all the clothes and other merchandise we would have to purchase, not to mention all the extra food and diapers.
Yeah, that is all true. It's too bad the baby doesn't come with a warranty. Haha, in case we weren't willing to care for it anymore.
Or, in case it was aggressive, or even worse, ugly.
You're right.
Also, it would tremendously decrease our chances of taking that vacation you wanted to take next year too.
Oh no, I wanted to go to Bali.
Exactly.
What about all the love and joy having a child would bring to our family and the fulfillment we would feel after having nurtured and cared for another human being?
Yeah, but would that substitute for all the financial losses we would suffer?
Ching and Cuốn pause and think for a moment.
Nah, let's go to Bali. A rich Vietnamese couple just found out that they lost all their money in a bad investment. Babe, we have a crisis going on here. We need to call our accountant right now.
What is it now?
We're poor. That lying financial advisor tricked us and got us to invest in penny stocks.
Well, why would you invest in penny stocks, you idiot? You have a better chance of winning the lottery than making money from those.
The cost of the stocks fluctuates so quickly, there is a chance to earn a big dividend. But the advisor lied to me. I was scammed.
Well, it's not very wise to invest your money when you know nothing about finance.
Can you just help me, please? What is our accountant's phone number?
Why are you panicking? You still have plenty of money in our saving account. You told me you were going to deposit money in there yesterday. Relax. It's not like we're in debt.
Oh. Well, that wasn't exactly accurate information.
Wait, is there something you're not telling me?
Well, actually yesterday I sort of went to the casino.
You lost all your money at the casino? I knew it. You're lucky we'll still have the saving accounts that my father set up for me.
Actually I used the money in your account for a down payment on a new Mercedes-Benz.
What? You took my debit card from my wallet without my permission to buy another car?
Hey, we find room in our budget to buy all your shoes, dresses, and cosmetics. All those expenses start to accumulate, you know. I don't see why I can't treat myself to something too.
Well, you already owed a lot of money to my father. He's not going to help you this time.
Oh, please. You have to talk to him. Tell him I will promise to refund him all the money this time.
No.
Well, maybe I could exchange with him the new car for some cash.
I think I would just exchange you instead. I want to divorce you.
What? But don't you still love me?
Not if you're poor, honey. Sorry.
JFK airport officials have introduced several policy changes following last week's bomb threat that resulted in the shutdown of the facility's Terminal 1 and the grounding of several flights, saying that it is obvious that they must act immediately to counter these security threats. A Port Authority press release from last night indicated the airport's intention to hire an additional 25 TSA agents to further secure airport security and terminal areas. Beyond this, the airport announced the agency's intention to conduct random searches of passengers' persons and luggage may also be conducted in check-in and ticketing areas. The American Civil Liberties Union responded to a request for comment by stating that representatives had been in contact with the Department of Justice regarding the constitutionality of these planned searches. Restrictions on carry-on baggage have also been tightened. Baggage exceeding 16 by 12 by 6 inches are now banned from all flights, foreign and domestic, departing from JFK. The airport has indicated the ban will apply to all airlines hosted at JFK International. Lawmakers, including Senator Thomas J. Hackett, Republican, New York, have publicly wondered where the funding for these new full-time TSA staff would come from. We obligate the Port Authority to keep our travelers safe, as government alone cannot solve every problem, Hackett said at a televised Brooklyn Town Hall meeting yesterday evening. I hope the Port Authority can create a solution to keep our passengers safe that will not impose an additional financial burden on our state's taxpayers. That's something I know my friends in the state Senate won't stand for. Almost as if in direct response to Hackett's remarks, JFK released a new statement overnight. This one reading that, a special session of senior administrators has been concluded and the decision has been made to assess an additional security fee of $10 from each passenger departing from JFK. Said fees shall be rolled into passengers' ticket costs and will not be collected on airport premises. We regret the inconvenience this may cause to airport passengers. While not ideal, this option has been deemed to be the most viable. We are dedicated to keeping all passengers safe and are confident that our actions will lead to our continued success in this endeavor. Crime is not tolerated in our city, and especially not in our airports, a Port Authority spokesman told The Times. We understand some policy changes may not be viewed favorably, but they may be our only recourse at this time.
Ho Chi Minh, the man, had many names. He was born Nguyễn Sinh Cung, but also known as Nguyễn Tất Thành, Nguyễn Ái Quốc, his nickname Uncle Ho. He was a communist revolutionary leader who was also the former Prime Minister and President of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. He spent much of his life fighting for liberty for Vietnam that had been a French colony for more than 6 decades. Uncle Ho was a man of superlative potential. He was not only a politician, but also a writer, poet, and even a philosopher. There are many stories about the travels in different countries that Uncle Ho lived in. He was said to have visited or lived in France, the United States, United Kingdom, the USSR, China, and even Thailand. During his time in France is when he became interested in politics and received sufficient education and experience. He started writing articles and constructing petitions with Vietnamese nationalists living in Paris, France, advocating the independence of Vietnam. After years of traveling around the world, he eventually returned to Vietnam in the 1940s to be involved in the August Revolution against French colonial rule. The result of the revolution was the Viet Minh League for the Independence of Vietnam, seizing power with the majority of rural villages and cities throughout the North, Center, and South Vietnam, including Hanoi. Uncle Ho then became chairman of the provisional government, issued a proclamation of independence of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. The evolution of Uncle Ho was complete when on September 2, 1945, following Vietnam's Emperor Bao Dai's abdication, he read the Declaration of Independence of Vietnam in Ba Dinh Square, looking to reform Vietnam's political situation. Uncle Ho went on fighting for Vietnam until the end of his life. To get Vietnam true independence was a much longer procedure and didn't happen until April 30th, 1975, with North Vietnam regaining control of South Vietnam after victories against American and French forces. This finally constituted Vietnam as united and free. Uncle Ho fought for communism, and to this day, Vietnam is in the minority of the world as a country without a democracy. Uncle Ho is still now considered a legend with our witness in Vietnam, and Saigon was renamed Ho Chi Minh after the American war to commemorate the hero. Tung and Duy talk about Tung's new robotic girlfriend.
So, Tung, how are things with your new device? Or should I say, girlfriend. Her name is Samantha, and she's amazing. Science and technology have changed everything. Now I can have all the benefits of a girlfriend with none of the negative things. Oh yeah? Like what? Human girls are so typical. They are always complaining, crying, and trying to control men. Samantha does everything I say without any question. I'm so glad I made the switch to a robot girl. How does she work? So, basically, the creators installed software into her which was created based on information I provided to the creators about my ideal girlfriend. Wow, incredible. What about her batteries? She is solar powered, so she is good for the environment too. However, her internal battery needs to be replaced once a year, which can be a messy process. I see. Man, sometimes I wish my girlfriend had an on and off button, or at least a mute function. Samantha has that and so much more. She can digitally search the internet for any question you have. She can be programmed to perform a morning routine. For example, cooking you breakfast and preparing your daily outfit. And she can even be programmed to master any musical instrument you choose. I'm jealous. My girlfriend can't even cook mee tom. Samantha can even be turned into a weapon. A weapon? Well, actually, that took some hacking and engineering on my part. But I was able to install a small laser that can fire a beam at something or someone. Wow, that sounds like it could be dangerous. I hope she doesn't have any defects and fire a laser beam at you one day. No, that is why I installed it to be fired only manually. Also, her main function is my happiness. So if she were to harm me, her main sensors would indicate my pain. That way, there's no way she could ever attempt to harm or betray me. Altogether, since I got Samantha, it's been constant happiness for me. Hold on a second. I'm going to call my girlfriend right now to break up with her. Please note that we have just begun a system-wide upgrade of our internal security measures at the Arc Ridge campus. To prevent on-site identity fraud, it will be necessary to assemble a full biometric profile of each employee and contractor who will maintain a physical presence on the Arc Ridge campus. This process will require a retinal scan, fingerprinting, and the collection of a voice sample. Please note that completion of this process is mandatory. Exceptions shall only be provided upon the condition of permission attained from senior management. In these situations, alternative security clearances may be provided on an individual basis. Scanners at entrances shall analyze all persons and ascertain whether campus access will be allowed. Persons not matching any recognized biometric profile may be escorted off campus by corporate security. Bag searches and pat-downs at exits will continue. In an effort to rectify any possibility of a data breach, file transfers across internal servers are now required to be approved by both password and voice print recognition. New personal passwords shall be generated daily and will not be recycled. Additionally, breakthroughs in artificial intelligence have made it possible for us to begin automatic software updates. In their room at night, a mother and father are talking about their children. Where did Ling say she wanted to go?
She's going to Sundong MTV concert with her friends, honey. She's already told you 1,000 times. Maybe you should try to pay attention to her daughter once in a while.
I pay plenty of attention. Thank you very much. Stop always trying to create some drama, honey. Where is the site?
It's at the Hanoi Opera House.
Lord, we don't have enough money. Last week we paid to decorate her room with all those K-pop posters, combined with all the money we spend on her makeup, and now this? We have to stop spoiling her too much.
Well, I have to comb my hair and shave my legs. I'm not going to be the one to break your heart. You must tell her.
The father walks into his daughter and son's room.
Hello, Dad.
Hey, sweetie. Where is Ming?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Ming's in jail.
What? Jail? Why?
He tried to rob a bank the other day.
What? How did they arrest him?
The cops saw damage to the bank window and they started to chase Ming. He found a skateboard and tried to skate away, but he could not control it, so the cops started to catch up. Finally, he completely fell over and could not continue. So the cops got him. It was all over the news and social media. What, do you live under a rock or something, Dad?
Oh, no. How are we going to solve this?
Well, maybe if you adjusted the way you treated him, he wouldn't be such a bad kid.
Hey, you don't decide what I do.
Will you go help him get out of jail or what?
First, we have to collect money for bail, and then hire a lawyer to defend him. I have no idea how I'm going to cover all of these costs.
Does this mean I can't go to the concert?
No, Ling.
Get out of my room then, I hate you. The year is 2020. There have been many recent conflicts between the United States government and the Chinese government. The Chinese government decided to offer a peace treaty in order to prevent a war between the two countries. President Donald Trump was not ready for a peace treaty. Trump and the U.S. government wanted to remove the president of the People's Republic of China. The president of China really irritated the U.S. government with his policies. The U.S. government managed to postpone the treaty agreement to 1 week later. This was done to provide the U.S. government enough time to create a plan to murder the president of China. In this particular meeting, both leaders were required to present their opinions on the treaty. President Trump knew that if this assassination didn't go as planned, the Chinese government may try to invade the United States and start a war. 1 week passed, and it was time for the meeting. Donald Trump never intended to show up for the meeting, so he was busy sunbathing on the beach in order to get his skin more orange. When the president of China arrived, his guards scanned the area to make sure it was safe and saw nothing unusual. What they did not notice was that a sniper was hanging from the roof of the building. As the Chinese president began to make his speech, the sniper lifted his gun. One of his guards heard the noise of the man lifting the gun and yelled for the president to get out of the way. The sniper fired his gun, but the president jumped to the side. Everyone in the building panicked as they heard the shot. Men from the Chinese government jumped in to rescue the president. Blood poured onto the floor as the president had been shot. The rescue team carried the president to the ambulance as soon as possible. The bullet struck the president, but it only left him with a scratch. President Trump realizes he must blame the attack on someone else, so he makes a post on Twitter. It wasn't me. It must have been Kim Jong-un and the North Koreans. Pictures surfaced of Donald Trump on the beach. Reporters note that President Trump was nowhere near the meeting. The American public is outraged and call for the impeachment of Donald Trump.
Two beautiful American women, Angela and Victoria, are traveling through India. They sit at a cafe to eat. The waiter comes out, takes their order, and goes back in the kitchen. "I will pay," Angela says. "No," Victoria assures. "Don't even pull out your wallet." Immediately after, the waiter returns without food. In a friendly tone, he asks if they can come to the kitchen with him. Angela is suspicious about this. "Can you specify why we should go?" "The manager gets very lonely and likes to eat with the customers sometimes. The food will be free," the waiter responds. Upon hearing the word free, Victoria jumps up and grabs Angela, forcing her to subscribe to the offer. They walk through the kitchen door and they are immediately put in handcuffs by 3 men. Angela and Victoria glance at each other in shock. Once the men leave, Angela quarrels with Victoria. "Did it not occur to you that agreeing was a stupid idea? I hate having to submit to your ridiculous impulses." The men come back. Angela yells at them, but they ignore her and say, "The prince will see you now," and take the woman into the room. On a huge throne sits a young man dressed in fancy clothes. There are servants sitting around him waiting to polish his shoes or pick up anything he has dropped. The prince tells the story about how one of his wives left him, and to resolve the issue and restore his dignity, he captured them to become his wife. "If you fill out the marriage form immediately, I will permit you to sleep in the same room for the first night." Wanting to be alone to talk, Angela and Victoria fill out the form. "There will be a servant to occupy your door since I forbid an escape," the prince announces. In the room, they make a plan to escape. At about midnight, Victoria opens the door and punches the servant. She takes her clothes to disguise herself as the servant. To distract the guards, she she screams, "They are escaping through the bathroom window!" The guards run to the bathroom, and they run through the other doors to escape. The guards tell the prince of the escape. He is enraged with the news. "How dare they disgrace me? Everybody disperse and pursue these two women. I want them dead or alive."
As captain, I required my squad members to follow some extreme conduct. During the season, no one is allowed to go out. No champagne, no clubs. We wake up together and eat together. To ensure that it's all about football, there's no smartphone and internet access, except on Saturday afternoons. I don't want my guys losing focus because they can't stay off Instagram. I've actually seen this happen. Rooms are inspected, and a 10 p.m. curfew is enforced to make sure no one's breaking these rules. Happen to be injured? Well, you stay at the facility with the coaches and watch game film. If you can't train, you can still be learning. We reject potential players who bark at these rules because that means they are not as serious about the game as we are. Guys who fold under pressure obviously can't be on the team. We have to release them. We divide our practice sessions into morning conditioning with former British SAS paratroopers who are in the business of making you better by making you hurt, and afternoon drills and scrimmages. We rehearse all the possibilities that may come up on game day as if we're choreographing a play. Everything has to be perfect, right down to the footwork and where your hips are pointed. Instead of saying, "We'll get it right tomorrow," we don't leave the field until we've figured out, for example, a defensive scheme. Gives us their past super time many nights, but it's worth it. After supper, we're learning. An obsessive study of the playbook and rulebook ensures we're not usually the one to draw a penalty when a flag is thrown. When I hear a whistle in the game, I'm confident it's not our problem. We don't follow others, we guide the whole league. We influence and inspire our fans. It's my hope that young players who witness our play will work hard, throw out excuses, and not attempt themselves with shortcuts. I believe that it's due to our team's obsessive training habits that we have escaped elimination in the tournament so far, and have been able to grab all the trophies we've competed for this season. Our efforts carried us to the final this year, and to all my competitors, I would like you to know that we'll be there in the World Cup final next summer.
The guests started to arrive in bunches. The men wore tuxedos, and attached to them were women in fancy garments. Everyone who had attended Dai and Lan's wedding were close friends and family. It was a small but exciting event. Friends and family had gathered from all over the country to see these two get married. Delicious food was served and good music was played. People were laughing and having a good time. There was especially a lot of gossiping about the bride and groom and their families. Dai was from a very wealthy and powerful family of property developers. They design, construct, and sell properties all over Vietnam. Lan, however, was from a family of babysitters. They didn't make much money and were always subject to attacks from Dai's wealthy father. Everything was still very relaxed, but little did anyone know what was about to happen after the couple's first dance. A surprise that nobody would ever expect. "Everybody gather round. The bride and groom will embark onto the dance floor for their first dance," said the father of the bride. And so everyone followed. But suddenly, the father of the groom, who was initially banned from attending the wedding, somehow managed to enter, carrying a small weapon. He aimed the weapon at Lan's head and shouted, "I'm sorry to have to do this and frighten you all. I'm just disappointed you have chosen to marry Lan. Why can't you understand the impact this has on our family's Dai? She is not one of us." "Why won't you respect my decision, father?" pleaded Dai. "Please put the gun down. Don't do something you will regret." "It's too late, Dai. You have been inconsiderate to my wishes since you were a child. I won't allow you to marry her." Just then, out of nowhere, Lan's mother dived onto Dai's father and tackled him to the ground. A gunshot was fired, but it didn't harm anyone, and Dai's father dropped the gun. Lan's mother then took her purse and hit Dai's father with it while saying,
"You terrible old man. How dare you disrespect my daughter?"
Dai's father was escorted out, and all the guests were relieved to avoid a tragedy. The party continued, and more drinks were poured.
Police investigated an incident that occurred in the early morning on Sunday. According to reports, a man driving a motorbike drove straight into the front window of a jewelry store and then removed the store's jewelry and cash and fled the scene. However, moments after the man fled, the sign of the store that is illuminated by LED lights caused an electrical spark and a fire to the store, which in turn caused the store to explode and injured bystanders. The explosion also set fire to a KFC that was located next to the jewelry store. The value of the damage and property stolen is still being evaluated. The total is said to be in the billions of Vietnamese dong. There were some witnesses who observed the incident, and they were the ones who notified the authorities. Witnesses said that the man had another person accompany him and help take the jewelry and cash. However, witnesses were shown photos of possible suspects and could not recognize any of them. This incident is the third to occur this month, all involving motorbikes and jewelry stores. It has not been determined whether it is all the same suspects committing the crimes or whether the first crime has inspired others to imitate it. The owners of the jewelry have made a comment on the situation. It is clear that these crimes have exposed a big problem with law enforcement. They need to take more actions to preclude this from happening again. I reckon that CCTV installed on every street corner might hamper our rights as citizens, but perhaps it's a fair price to pay to prohibit this from happening again. However, some people have said that they are not willing to give up their rights in order to install CCTV on each street corner and will openly protest if it ever happens. Either way, the authorities have stated that some action will be taken to prevent this. If anyone has any information to disseminate on someone who might have participated in the crimes listed above, please contact the authorities promptly. Authorities are also negotiating a possible reward for anyone with relevant information, so there might be some incentive to speak up. Thắng and Chang meet in a cafe for their first.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Well, looks like someone isn't very punctual.
Excuse me?
Never mind. You're here, so let's just get this started. Chang takes out a pen and writes something.
Are you okay? You seem a little tense.
Perhaps. If you didn't keep me waiting for 5 whole minutes alone, I wouldn't be so tense.
Sorry, it's just the old quarter is very far from my house.
I see. Can we just move on?
That would be great.
So, would you consider yourself a clean person?
What?
Because I would never date someone who's dirty.
I shower every day.
And brush your teeth twice a day?
Of course, can't you tell?
Tang smiles and Chang inspects his teeth with the same expression of a dentist. Then she writes in her notebook again. Do you have any abnormal habits?
Probably not, but I might randomly surprise you with a present if you were my girlfriend.
Cute. How would you describe your temper?
I would say I'm a pretty calm person. Even in the chaos of Hanoian street traffic, I remain level-headed.
So you never get angry?
Well, I am a human, so I do get angry from time to time.
So he gets angry regularly. Chang writes in her notebook again.
Excuse me, but why are you being so tedious? This feels more like a job interview than a date.
To me, those things are very similar. I want to make sure I find the most adequate candidate for the position.
Well, I guess you haven't been on many dates.
You're right. I seldom go on dates.
Can't imagine why.
Maybe because I am a busy and serious girl and I don't want to date some loser who won't treat me right and take care of me.
Well, what about what I want? Do you think everything should be about you and your comfort and happiness?
Yes.
Wow, you're absolutely crazy. Healthy relationships should have equality and mutual effort.
So, do you want the position?
Yes, but only because you're pretty. Beek and Joe are at a cafe, sitting across from each other and discussing the latest episode of Descendants of the Sun, a famous Korean drama.
Oh my god, did you see last night's episode?
Yeah, it was so awesome. It was so exciting. My heart was racing the whole time.
I know, it was so emotional too. Ending was so beautiful I was crying for hours afterwards. It is basically the best show ever.
I totally agree. And Shi Jin-yu was so beautiful and extra fit. He is on another level of sexy.
Yeah, I feel the same way. He's my dream man.
I can't believe he is so in love with Mo Yan Kang. She is so awful.
Oh my god, I know. She's so nasty. I bet she's cheating on him. He deserves way better than her.
I think I would be such a better girlfriend to him. I would be so much more kind and gentle and love him unconditionally. Forever.
Yeah, I wonder if it would be possible for you to meet him.
Yeah, I've tried to research where he lives. I was able to find out his address after hours of research. I think after I save up enough money, I will go to Seoul and profess my love to him.
I think I would try a different plan.
Oh yeah? What is that?
Okay, after I track his location, and then for a few days I would follow him and discover if he had any dirty secrets. Then I would wait until his apartment is empty and break into his place and hide below his bed. And finally when he came home, I would surprise him and tell him I have photographic proof of his dirty secret, and that if he doesn't love me forever, I will expose them on social media.
Wow.
And I would force him to separate with his wife and marry me. And then him and I will have beautiful little children together.
Oh my. That is such an amazing plan. You're a genius. You truly deserve to be his lover. Nam has plenty of time off from work in November. Usually, Nam's work schedule is not very flexible, and he is always working. He thought it would be ideal to use his opportunity to go on a trip with his girlfriend, Mai. He decided to first visit the ancient city of Hue and then Da Nang. When the couple arrived in Hue, they decided to visit the Hue Royal Palace. They hired a tour guide so that they could learn the lengthy details about the history of the royal palace. Their tour guide turned out to be brilliant. Next, they went to eat at a local restaurant. Nam ordered pho ga and Mai ordered cam ga. Nam's pho was terrible. Even though he was so hungry, he had a difficult time finishing it. He felt sick and he had to go to the toilet to vomit. Mai's cam ga was delicious. It was so good, she decided to order another dish while Nam was vomiting. When Nam came back from the bathroom, he did not find it amusing that Mai ordered another dish instead of worrying about him. Mai just sat there silently and enjoyed her meal. Nam was mad and wanted to leave Hue. The next day, the two headed to Da Nang. What the couple didn't know was that there was a massive typhoon headed straight toward Da Nang. When the two arrived at their hotel, they were informed about the typhoon by the desk clerk. She said, "This will not be any average storm. This storm will have fierce winds and very large waves." Nam didn't listen to the desk clerk because he wanted to go swimming. So they went to the beach. The ocean waves were huge and Nam wanted to impress his girlfriend, so he jumped in the ocean. Immediately, he began to drown. Mai panicked and ran down the beach and asked a very strong man to help. The man ran into the ocean and pulled Nam out of the water. Mai yelled, "Wow! It is a miracle that you were able to save him. Thank you." She gave him a big hug. During the hug, Mai realized that this man would be a much better boyfriend than Nam. Nam was still on the sand recovering, so Mai saw the perfect opportunity to leave with the man. Nam woke up in the hospital.
Hank returned to a messy house with multiple beer bottles all over the floor and her husband laying next to them asleep. Wow, isn't this just wonderful? You're really such a nuisance. Goon wakes up.
Oh, hi honey, how was your day?
My day was going smoothly until I came home and saw that you're drunk and made a huge mess of the house.
Drunk? Who, me? No, I wasn't drinking today.
Really? So what are all these beers doing on the ground?
Oh, you mean the bottles? Well, I was trying to make an art pattern out of bottles and was going to give you a pleasant surprise when you got home. See, I made a square. That's why I'm on the ground. I was trying to measure everything exactly.
Goon then burps extremely loud. Well, that was disgusting and also proof that you're drunk. I don't see any pattern, but I do see that your face is almost the color purple.
Purple? Yes, that's because I was exercising. You know, I'm trying to get my body in great physical shape,
and then you can show your sexy husband off to all your friends.
Ha, well, you're a long way from there. Right now, your body is just floppy and awkward.
Honey, is it really necessary to constantly insult me? I don't see why I should tolerate this any longer.
No, I don't see why I should tolerate this any longer. I am a strong, independent woman that works all day and comes home to a pathetic husband who did nothing all day besides get drunk and make a mess. I have to cook for you and then clean up after you. But what's most important is that you never make any effort to take care of our children. I wouldn't be surprised if you've been letting them drink beer. You know, it's all your fault and I don't love you anymore. And you don't even care. You just keep drinking and not caring. You hear me? I don't love you anymore and you don't care. Goong starts snoring loudly. He's fast asleep. Exactly.
Chi has been struggling in school, and her mother is reprimanding her.
So, I didn't do excellent in school. What's the big problem? It's not like I failed.
So, you're okay with just being normal?
No. But school is stupid. I don't want to learn about that stuff. It isn't pertinent to what I want to do.
And what is it you want to do?
I want to be a singer.
A singer? You know how difficult it is to become a singer? To become a successful singer, it will take an enormous amount of effort and luck.
That's why I have been focusing more of my time on singing instead of school.
So you have been missing class to practice singing then?
Well, yeah, I'd sort of see them as equivalent. They will both help me get closer to my dreams to become a successful individual.
Oh, honey, you are so foolish. You are just concerned about immediate gratification. That's why you want to be a singer, so you could be famous and loved. But you need to think about the long term. You need to think about a realistic job, a house and a family, because you don't have what it takes to be a singer.
I don't have what it takes.
Let's face it, Chi, you are so passive. You never take initiative to get what you want.
Well, I have enthusiasm for singing, not for school. That's why my grades aren't spectacular. I don't even care.
It's not just that, Chi. To be a famous singer, you need to be gorgeous, and you are just ordinary looking. You won't be able to appeal to the mainstream with your looks.
Oh my god, are you serious?
I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
Do you ever think that maybe you and I aren't alike? Why would I listen to you? It's not like you've done anything extraordinary with your life. All you do is stay at home and spend Dad's money. I don't want to be like you.
How dare you? I raised you and your brother and made sure you got a good education. To raise a healthy and happy family is extraordinary.
Well, I'm not happy.
Hui woke up one morning and walked outside onto the path in front of his house in Quảng province. He looked up into the sky and felt a strange feeling. He looked around and saw people scurrying about, packing the trunks of their trucks with all their belongings. He quickly returned inside his house and he turned on the TV. He saw tsunami to hit Halong Bay, and the TV showed crowds of passengers evacuating cruise ships and ferries on the port of Halong Bay, and people crowding on the train platforms, trying to escape by railroad. Hui thought that his house was in danger too, because it was close enough to the harbor. He went to his room and then his garage to gather some belongings, and then packed his van and drove off. It started pouring rain, as he drove as fast as he can through the streets. But as he was driving, something strange happened. A frog fell on his windshield. He stopped his car to see how that could have happened, but another frog fell, hitting him in the head. He then realized it was raining frogs. Hundreds of frogs fell from the sky. He got back into his vehicle, put on his seatbelt, and sped off. As he drove further down the road, he had to slam on his brakes because of a huge traffic jam. He couldn't drive any further. He saw people running under the tunnel nearby, and he followed them. As he was running, he looked up and saw a helicopter flying high above him. Lightning struck the helicopter, and it came crashing down onto the ground in flames. Lightning then struck the ground right by him, nearly hitting him. He finally arrived safely under the tunnel and let out a deep breath. But just then, the ground started to shake, and the pavement started to split, Huy tried to run away, but he couldn't escape as the ground around him crumbled and he fell into the abyss. As he fell, he thought, well, this is how it all ends. And finally, he slammed violently onto a rock. Suddenly, he woke up in his bed and tried to catch his breath. It was just a dream, he thought. He heard a noise and looked outside the window. He saw a frog on the ground.
It was Michael's first trip abroad. He packed his backpack, grabbed his toothbrush, kissed his mom goodbye, and headed for the airport. He had no itinerary, no host to stay with, just a plane ticket to Vietnam and a dream. Some say he had a lot of courage to dare to do this. Some just say he was dumb. He thought he will stay in one small part of the world and he's dead in a cemetery. And he wasn't ready for his grave just yet. He's alive and he's going to see the world. When he arrived, he took a motorbike taxi to downtown Hanoi. The driver didn't really take too much caution while driving him there. Either way, he was in Vietnam and still alive. He loved the city, the smells, the sights, the sounds, and well, maybe not all the sounds. There was so much beeping, and why was it so hot, he wondered. Everywhere he went, he was covered in sweat, and in the bathrooms, there were no tissues, just a water hose. The locals didn't really speak English. This was also quite burdensome for him. Eventually, he rented a motorbike and to adapt to the local life. But that same day, he got into an accident and injured his leg. The next day, he was limping along the street with his phone in his hand, checking his location, when a motorbike driver drove past him and snatched his phone. He hobbled after the guy, but he couldn't catch him. I guess there is some danger here, he thought. Michael was defeated. He was at a crossroads. He thought he could go back home now. He would be ashamed, but he wouldn't have to take part in this madness anymore. He walked further down the street when the smell of delicious pho broth cooking caught his nose. He sat down and ate the most delicious bowl of pho he had ever eaten. Just then he realized what a treasure it was that he had been looking for. Michael could get a new phone, a new bike, even a new leg. Those things shouldn't matter much as a small, irreplaceable moment of having a bowl of pho or receiving a nice smile from a stranger. Those little special moments are what life's all about, he thought. But damn, how will he pay for a new phone?
Okay guys, my name is Tuh, and I will be your tour guide for your full moon party adventure. So, I will now explain your schedule so you will be all ready for your big journey ahead. Early Thursday morning, we will head to the international terminal at Nội Bài Airport and take our flight to Thailand. After a short stopover in Bangkok, we will fly to Surat Thani, and after landing in Surat Thani, we will then take a direct ferry to our final destination in Koh Phangan. We will be staying at the luxurious resort, Paradise Bungalows, conveniently located right on the beach. Once you are all settled and you have unpacked all your baggage, we will go ahead and do some sightseeing around the island. There are some wonderful temples and waterfalls located on the island that are more beautiful than words can describe. After that, I arranged our group to visit a nearby village with the locals. The food that will be served will be traditional Southern Thai food, which means it will be really spicy. Also, be sure to buy some handmade souvenirs from the villagers there that you can bring back to your family and friends. So finally, once all that boring stuff is finished, it will be time to do what you all are going to the full moon party for. To party! This is obviously the most important part of the trip, and the main reason why thousands of people immigrate from all over the world and gather together on this one island in Thailand. So we will host a pregame party where every kind of alcohol you can think of will be available. It is mandatory you drink as many shots and buckets as your body can handle. The goal of the full moon party is to make as many irresponsible decisions as you can and not remember any of them. Whatever happens on the island, stays on the island. So enjoy! By the way, the checkout will be 2 p.m. the next day, and our departure will be soon after that. Make sure you are all nice and hungover for our voyage back.
Cung has a meeting with his friend Chang, and he decides to invite her to the zoo. Cung secretly had a crush on Chang, but he hasn't told her yet. He plans to reveal his secret to her today.
Hey Chang, you look stunning today.
Hey Cung, thanks, nice to see you. They walk over to the monkey cage where monkeys are swinging on the tree branches. I love monkeys, they're so cute and playful.
Yeah, just like you.
Yeah, well, I wish I was a monkey and could live in the jungle and play all day and enjoy the scenery.
Maybe I could take you one day.
That would be nice. Cung smiles as they walk along to the bird section where they have every kind of bird from owls, peacocks, parrots, and even turkeys.
This parrot has beautiful feathers.
Look at that swan over there. What a gorgeous creature.
I think you are more beautiful.
Thanks, you're funny today. Cung smiles again. As they walk further on, they see a little rabbit run in front of them and hide in a bush.
What's wrong, Doc?
Oh, Cung, you're so funny. They stop at a cage with a bear in it. Bears are so cute. I want to hug one.
Maybe you can hug me instead.
Aw, thanks, Cung. Chang hugs Cung as he blushes. They walk over to some water, and on a rock, one turtle is laying on top of another turtle shell.
Look, it looks like those turtles are in the process of breeding.
Haha. Oh my god, you're right. Oh, look at the crocodiles. So scary. Chang then grabs Kung's arm. He feels that this is his moment, and he goes in to kiss Chang, but she pulls away. What are you doing?
I like you, Chang. I thought you liked me too.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kung, but I'm actually in love with Bak. He asked me to his girlfriend, so I'm faithful to him now. I'm so sorry. Kung gets upset, and then suddenly pushes Chang in the water with the crocodiles.
Tell Bak I said, hi.
Help! He walks away, abandoning her in the water with the crocodiles. Tuấn prayed to the heavens for his school to be cancelled tomorrow because he did not complete his homework.
Please, God, or anyone up there. My teacher has abused me by giving me too much homework. Please make school be cancelled tomorrow. I don't care if there has to be a natural disaster. I just can't go to school.
His father had heard him and knocked on Tuấn door and told him to go to sleep. Tuấn woke up the next morning and looked outside the window. He couldn't see anything outside. He ran downstairs and turned on the TV to see the weather forecast. The meteorologist on the TV said Hanoi had become so humid that a thick fog formed in the air. He also said that this bizarre climate was perhaps due to the pollution in Hanoi.
When you pollute the planet, you will see its rage,
He warned. Additionally, a large storm was supposed to hit Hanoi as well. Tuấn had heard a loud crash of thunder outside. He smiled and thought maybe his prayers were answered, but his father came downstairs and said,
Come on, Tuấn. Your school is still open.
Tuấn was in disbelief as they got onto the motorbike and drove off. As they were driving, they became immersed in the shadow of a dark cloud in the sky, and then heavy rain poured down on them and made the street look more like a stream. Tuấn father accelerated quicker as they drove over the wet ground and mud. Suddenly, they both felt the ground start to shake underneath them. An earthquake was happening. Buildings crumbled around them, and the road started to break apart. From the cracks in the ground, hot lava shot out like a volcano. His father drove skillfully, dodging the lava and debris left and right. Tuấn screamed.
Dad, stop! We're going to die!
His father looked determined and kept driving. Briefly, the weather became more mild, and it looked like it was all over. But then a huge tornado came whirling over and picked up Tuấn and his father on the bike. They flew hundreds of meters high through the sky. The tornado tossed them, and the two of them and the bike landed right in front of Tuấn school. His teacher was outside standing and waving at them. Tuấn walked into school, with his head down.
It's now been 3 days since the Perseid meteor shower sent a boulder-sized meteor into the ground outside Littlefield, Nebraska, putting the little town on the map and bringing NASA officials and international media attention to the area. The meteor was found at the bottom of a massive crater in a prairie north of town. What follows is an interview with Adam Caraway, mayor of Littlefield, in the aftermath of this week's events.
How did you first hear of the meteor hit?
It woke me up. When it hit, around 10 p.m. on Wednesday, it sounded like a bomb or maybe fireworks. A lot of windows in town shattered, and some folks say the impact actually bounced them out of their beds. A few people saw it burn up in the atmosphere and thought it was a UFO or something of that sort.
What was your initial reaction to the situation?
I was glad no one was hurt. It hit in a remote area and was actually a pretty small rock, they say. Beyond that, I guess we have had the same reaction anyone would. We never could have anticipated anything as surreal as this happening to us.
How have things changed for your town this week?
It definitely changed our local landscape and geography. We used to have nothing but flat land here, and now we've got a big hole in our backyard. Makes for quite the contrast. Also, we've had an influx of reporters battling to get a few minutes on the phone with my office. We've tried to allocate our time wisely to deal with all the interviews. Some reporters have been pushy and think they're entitled to bother me at home, which isn't great.
What was the original plan of the meteor?
NASA officials had planned to study it back in Texas, where they have resources to conduct a more thorough analysis of it. It shows how fascinating nature can be.
This has become one of the sensational stories of the decade so far. But we heard from another source someone tried to actually steal the meteor. Is it true?
Yeah, there was a theft attempt, but we added more security, so that doesn't happen anymore. Breaking news. It has been reported from unknown sources that the famous Korean TV drama star Park Yin-kam has been seen on a date with another man. Park Yin-kam, the 28-year-old Korean celebrity, has gained tremendous popularity from acting in the TV show Portrait of a Young Man over the last 3 years. The TV show is among the most famous on cable TV in Korea and also gained a huge following in Vietnam as well. The show depicts a fictional story about a Korean male high school student who plays the drums in a popular band that falls in love with a mysterious new female student. In a column in the magazine Bromide, one writer wrote an article about the show and said, "The show owes its success to the quality of its artistic direction, as well as addressing current social issues with its complex and realistic characters. It's a modern depiction of the ever-growing struggle of being a teenager in Korea." The show can be seen on Channel MBC on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 21:55. Park Yin-kam was reportedly seen holding hands with another man the other day as the two of them entered a pottery store. And this wasn't the first time Yin-kam was seen holding hands with another man. Rumors say that Yin-kam and the other man have been secretly dating for years now and have been seen multiple times displaying affection in public. Rumor has it the mysterious man is actually Yin-kam's co-star in the show, Lee Woo-jin, who has a more minor role as the flute player in the band that Yin-kam also drums in. After reviewing one of the most popular scenes from the show, where Yin-kam and Woo-jin get into a physical altercation, it is clear that there was some extra touching going on there. Park Yin-kam has made no comment on the rumors yet. However, action has already been taken by Hype, the famous beer brand in Korea, who has fired Yin-kam as their main sponsor, which seems like a reasonable action. We are not sure how the rest of the world will react to this information. Will this forever be a stain on Yin-kam's record? Or perhaps this will start a new trend in Korea involving holding hands and pottery stores. Who knows?
It was Hung's big day. He had been preparing and rehearsing for months. His orchestra was ready to perform on an episode of Vietnam's Got Talent. Hung had come up with a new song for his orchestra to play for this concert. He was very nervous because their performance would be broadcasted on live television to an international audience. He knew his orchestras must entertain the audience. If any of the judges were to judge his performance poorly, it could have permanently damaged his reputation and his future. Hung played many instruments, but for this performance, he would play the electronic keyboard. His orchestra took their seats, and Hung walked toward the microphone to address the crowd. One characteristic of Hung is that he's not a very good public speaker. So, he was extremely nervous and sweating and shaking. But first, he introduced the rhythm section, then the string section, and then finally himself. The crowd applauded and Hung was thrilled that he did well with his introduction. But as Hung walked toward his seat, he tripped over someone's foot. He then knocked over a massive sculpture on stage, and the sculpture then knocked over a candle. The candle fell onto the curtains on the stage, and the curtains immediately caught on fire. The crowd erupted, and the audience just jumped out of their seats. Everyone panicked as they raced to evacuate the building. During the frenzy, people were not able to get out of the building and escape the fire. In the tragedy, a total of 13 people were lost to the fire. Later, it is revealed that the Vietnam's Got Talent show did not follow proper fire safety precautions, and they were blamed for the deaths in the fire. Many commercials' interests would not associate with the show. Soon, all television channels stopped advertising the show on their stations. Vietnam's Got Talent was forced to cancel their show. Many people in Vietnam blamed Hung for the ending of their beloved show. For the rest of Hung's life, he was vilified and hated in the country of Vietnam.